Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and welcome to the last SITREP of the 2024. However, this is not the SITREP for the 31st of December because that will come on the 1st of January 2025. This is for the 30th of December. And first thing first, in the Black Sea, there is a drone attack against Sevastopol by the Ukrainians. Is a combination of naval and aerial drones. So 16 UAVs and 8 unmanned drones were involved. They were sent in 2 waves, and then it didn't seem to do much from the look of it. So, but yeah, it's yet another attempt by the Ukrainians. But who knows? There might be a bigger attack, after this one because it's New Year. It's New Year Eve, and definitely going to try something. It's important to note that I think there was a New Year, or is it a Christmas Day? I think it's a New Year attack, a missile attack by, I think they used ATACMS and or something, some cruise missile, and killed a lot of Russian soldiers because they lost. They didn't have the discipline, the operational discipline. They call back to their family, and then they got tracked by the Ukrainian signal intelligence, and they realized that there's a huge number of Russian soldiers in one spot, and they basically striked it and killed off a lot of people. That was in the early days of the mobilization, and yeah, so that was important. That was like 3 months, into the mobilization. So the soldiers were still very complacent, and they didn't realize modern warfare means that they can be hit any place at any time. So I would expect the Ukrainians to try to do something. They are really losing out in the information war. They are losing out to the Israelis. They're losing out to the Syrians. They are losing out to so many parties. And the latest shit is the Pakistanis and the Afghans. They are now fighting along the border. The Taliban and the Pakistanis are fighting, and I've done a report on this on DPA News channel. Do check it out. If not sure, search DPA News. You probably can find it. If not, you just click the link at the end of this video. So that's just my own anticipation. I just think that something is gonna happen from the Ukrainian side. At Kherson, there is some shelling being reported at Antonivka. Let me throw the arrow. At Antonivka and also at Yatarny. So there's some shelling. This is a very consistent shelling from these 2 areas. So nothing much. There is also shelling reported at Mikhailivka, so not very important. So that's all from the Kherson Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, we have just 1 attack being reported at Novosilka. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the fighting in this sector still continues. But the battle here is super slow pace. So maybe I should go into some battlefield analysis some days, and let's take a look at why things could be so slow. But generally, strategically, this is not a good place for the Russians to attack because this is also a war. So it's not the best place to attack for the Russians. Over in the Donetsk, in the Velyka Novosilka sector of the Donetsk Front, or the Velyka Novosilka Front, whatever you want to call it, Russian forces are fighting in this region. They are fighting at Vremivka, Nekushny. They shelled Dnipro and Kiev. They are attacking towards Novosilka and Zelene Pole. So that's about it. There's no action being reported on the eastern part of the Velyka Novosilka. It's all on the western part, and the Russians, is operating in this sector, which I believe they are going to go north. But tentatively, we didn't have that information yet. So this is where I think the Russians are going to attack towards. So let's see. We move on over in the Konstyantynopil sector. We have fighting reported towards Bakhmut, Roslev, as well as Konstyantynopil. There's no frontline updates regarding here. So my gut feeling is that the Russians are already progressing up towards this settlement, and Bakhmut appearing again. So definitely a sign of the Russians pushing in that sector. Over the Uspenivka sector, there is some major updates. The Russian forces have captured the entire tree line along here. which means that this tree line is probably also gone. The Ukrainians can't possibly be there. The Ukrainians could potentially defend around here, but yeah, but this is a major update. Fighting on the western part uh, of Dane. Russian forces are attacking Yatarny and also in the region of Uspenivka, as per mentioned here. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces defending around the region of Yatarny. This is like an evacuation group, so there is some possibility of Ukrainian withdrawal from Yatarny, and this is also some drone strike on the Ukrainian forces. So Ukrainians are definitely defending this sector. They are not giving up so quickly, but things are really very, very difficult for them in this sector. This is very far, especially the closest settlement is Dashne, which is also on itself very in danger. In Kurakhove Front, we have fighting reported. So let's go into Kurakhove itself first. So in the Battle of Kurakhove, the Russian forces raised the flag in Pivdene, and that means that the Russian forces basically have taken the entire high-rise zone because they are basically standing, on the roof, so they look pretty safe. The Russians continue their flanking movement up north, and this totally shows that my prediction is or analysis is likely to be pretty correct, that they are flanking up north from this sector. So they are going up north and coincide with a pincer. But I think the movement within Kurakhove is very fast. This pincer is not going to work out in the good way. Like it's just going to be like they're just going to meet them without really putting pressure on the Ukrainians, as the Ukrainians continue to fall back, as they succumbs under the pressure coming from the east. So this pincer is not going to catch up in time to make any difference. So, and further moving around the Sontsevka region, this Sontsevka back, this entire back here is now taken. The BAG is now it's no longer a back. It's totally emptied. And Russian forces have taken most of Shevchenko. So this update from the Ukrainian side, Ukrainian mapping have shown that the Russian forces have basically moved into Shevchenko pretty quickly. So fighting is also reported as Slovianka, Petropavlivka. So this is on Sevka with the update here, as well as the battle at Shevchenko. So Shevchenko is going to fall. So strategically, it's going to change the tactical situation here. That sentence don't make a lot of sense. Some other geolocation, there's a Leopard tank getting hit by the FPV drone. Yet another Leopard tank getting hit by FPV drone. This is a Leopard 1. The other one is not entirely sure. So the Ukrainians are definitely sending in the armor to really defend this front line. They are desperate to stop this bleeding, but it's not really seems to be working out. It definitely slowed down the Russians. But yeah, let's see how they continue to play out. Over in the southern part of the Pokrovsk Front, the Russian forces continue to fight in the region of Novosilka. Information according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. However, according to the Ukrainian mapping themselves, the Russian forces have captured most of Novosilka. So this is definitely going to make the Ukrainian Defense Ministry look a bit embarrassed, I guess. But the Ukrainian Defense Ministry did mention about fighting at Novosilka as well. So let's see how this goes. The Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Novosilka. So yeah, so they announced they captured it. So which we already know is captured since the 25th of December. And we move on. Over in the Pokrovsk sector, we have fighting reported over in Vovkove, Pishchane, Shevchenko, towards Novoukrainka, Vorzhenia, Zelene, and the Chanske. And there's some frontline changes all around here, particularly the Vovkove. They are moving up north. They are soon going to hit the road leading to Zaporizhzhia. They are also heading down the railway line, moving towards Novoukrainka, and the Russian forces have captured the Chanske. So geolocation confirmed this capture, so the Chanske is now firmly under Russian control. which would potentially allow the Russians to pincer towards Novosilka, leading into a pincer movement between the push from Shevchenko and the Chensky. So, and of course, they can also pincer Lysivka from two sides. So this is all the developments here. In the south of Pokrov, there is a Ukrainian vehicle getting hit by FPV drone. So, but generally, no, yeah, that's about it. And there is a geolocation of Russian forces over in the west of Pishchane, confirming Russian presence in that movement over there. So that's all. So like along this tree line, it's now confirmed the Russians are there. Over in the Minokhrad sector, we have fighting reported at Promin and Mario-Lyubivka. Nothing particularly special about this. And we move into the northern flank of Pokrovsk Front. We have fighting reported over at Dvorichna with Russian forces capturing one more tree line, basically on this southeast of Dvorichna. Yep. And moving on, before I go into talk about Toretsk, the DPA awards has been already concluded. All the awards for all the different categories have been announced, so do check it out. If you don't want to watch the full show, which is I think is quite fun, the DPA awards show is actually on this main channel. You can actually click the live tab and then actually watch it. I think it's quite entertaining watch. If not, the full results is on the DPA Telegram. So yeah, that will be an easy way to just see who is the winners. But yeah, if you want a full experience, you should watch the live stream. And then at Toretsk, the Russian forces continue to break out from the center of Toretsk as they continue to put pressure on the Ukrainians. Fighting is reported at Uspenivka. In Nelipivka region, there is no more news. So this impossible salient is, we should give it a name. This is, I should call this the pig leg. This is a pork leg, a pig leg. So don't know why it just looks like a pig leg to me. Yeah, this pig leg looks very tasty to me. But yeah, if you are Muslim, cannot eat. It's haram. No, it's not halal for you. So you cannot eat the pig leg. So over in in Bakhmut, there is fighting reported at Chasivya and Stuposhki. Yeah, nothing much happens around here. So and we move on from Bakhmut. At the Siversk Front, suddenly everything just went super quiet. So there's fighting reported below Horevka, but nothing much really to talk about. Over in the Lyman Front, or the previously known as the Kremina Front, this is Lyman. And there's fighting reported at Ivanivka, Terny, Torske, as well as through the Serbiansky Forestry. At Terny, there is some developments with the Russian forces showing the fingers, digging up in this way. So very, very kinky of the Russians. And what it does significance is that it cut off the southern part, which means that Ukrainian forces defending at Terny have only one way to go, which is across the causeway towards the other side. So there is not much things to do right now, as they are going to be surrounded by the Russian forces. And yeah, so that's the significance of this position. And any Ukrainian forces defending in this forest is also going to feel the pressure. They're probably going to have to fall back to Yampolivka, as the Russian forces in this sector is going to put pressure and close this salient in this area here, as the Russian forces already have a foothold in the south of Terny. So that's the current situation in this area. We move on to the south Svatove Front. Fighting reported at Makiivka. That's all. Kharkiv is not mentioned, so there's a new. Usually the E is mentioned. We move into the Borova Front. There is fighting reported at Kopanki, Nadia, as well as Novosilka. So yeah, nothing new to talk about. That situation, general situation remains the same. At the Rhino Front at Pishchane, fighting is reported at Klushkivka, Kurakhove, and Zaporizhzhia. The fact that the Russians are still stuck here is pretty impressive, which means the Ukrainians have done a pretty good job, limiting the Russians into these areas. But definitely this is going to put a lot of strain on the Ukrainians. But yeah, it is what it is, because they lost it, so they have to deal with it now. Over in the Kupiansk Front, there's nothing much. The fighting is mainly in the Dvorichna Front. Fighting is reported at Dvorichna, Zaporizhzhia, as well as Holubivka. So this front line remains to be a thing. So let's see how this continue to play out. It feels like, you know, it's just going to be another logistical drain rather than, you know, a real threat of Russian conquest. And we move into the Kharkiv Front. At the Kharkiv Front, we have some geolocation of FPV drone hitting Ukrainian artillery at Udi. Otherwise, Russians are attacking at First Chance and Lipsy and Kozacha Lopan. Velyka Prokody was mentioned by the Russian Defense Ministry as well. So no, that's all. But strategically, nothing really changed. Over in the Kursk Front. Kursk Front, there is some major updates. Over in the southern flank, the Russian forces have hit Makhnovka, as they are geolocated in that direction, as they probably speed down the open ground in the north of Cherkasskoye Konopelka, where the Russians are also putting pressure on. And the Russians also continue the attack towards Kurilovka. So the Russians are definitely doing this massive big arrow movement in the south of SUDZHA. And most likely this is going to end up in a flanking movement that's going up north, cutting a main road, which could collapse the entire SUDZHA without destroying the city. So this is probably what the Russians are probably trying to do. As you can see, I draw again. As the Russians attack in this direction, they can totally ignore SUDZHA, close the highway to SUDZHA, and this will actually collapse the entirety of the city without destroying it. So that is the Russian game plan right now, because this is the lifeline. No, this road, this highway is what feeding the Ukrainian forces, you know, all over the place through SUDZHA, and cutting it here would just end the entire front. So that's what the Russians are probably aiming for. But of course, the terrain here is very complicated. There are rivers, there are a lot of forests, so not an easy place to fight in. You can't really move very quickly. And the rest of the fighting is over in the northern flank. We have fighting reported at Marevka and Novaya Sorokina. There is no evidence of the Ukrainians taking the areas around the south of Kurakhove. This claim doesn't really feel it. The Russians merely is talking about Leonidovo, and otherwise the rest of the western flank, we have fighting reported at Leonidovo, Loknia, Nizhny Klin, Darino, and Nikolaevo Darino. Which means strategically there's nothing changed. So yeah, that's it. So that's about it. So this is the last situation report for the Ukraine war and the special militia operation in Ukraine for 2024. Thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. I wish you a happy new year, and I wish you a great 2025, a peaceful one, and hopefully we all don't die in the World War III. And I'll see you guys in the next update. And oh yeah, check out the DPA awards, and of course the news about Pakistan and Afghanistan.